It's time for some hostile
Well,
therapy.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Hostile Therapy with me, Big Red, LT, Lord Trent, returning for another episode. And we got Preezy in the back coming on for another episode. Welcome, guys.
was popping.
Hey.
How y'all doing this week?
Icaro to Icaro and a tutu Oma. That's
What
how
did you
you
just
say
call me?
it.
I like that background.
I'm very poorly. Oh, thank you. This is my boy Yeshua of Palestine.
Nice.
Y'all may know him also as Jesus Christ of Bethlehem, but this is the black version.
Or Jesus, who does my plumbing.
Yeah, it's a bronze statue. The shit look chocolate as fuck. It's in the streets in Nubia.
It's a very good background.
Yeah, nice.
I like it. But yeah, I just said good. Honestly, it was too late. I just said good morning in Yoruba and in Igbo. So
Hey,
so good morning.
Hey, good. It's good morning somewhere, right?
Sure is.
Probably.
We'll go with that. How you doing, Preezy?
I'm okay. Y'all have to excuse me this evening.
Sound a little under the weather.
Yeah, I had a wrist surgery May 17th. I got the stitches out 2 days ago. So. You know how that is.
BBL?
What?
Nah,
I said wrist.
Oh, okay. I heard surgery.
She got fake wrist, y'all.
No.
That's all I heard was surgery. Sorry.
I know, right? That's how it is today. You're absolutely right.
Yo, and I don't. That kind of this has nothing to do with the main topic, but me bringing that joke in, the guy off of Wild 'N Out.
DC, me and my girlfriend was just talking about this. DC Young Fly's girlfriend passed away because she got she got the mommy makeover surgery. Apparently, that's what it's called. And
that's what it is. Okay.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I didn't know what kind of surgery it was. I knew it was cosmetic. That's all I heard. But yeah, she had.
I recently saw him.
3 kids left behind.
At a show and at the Barclays.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, sad.
So what did she actually do now? This is crazy.
She was on Wild Out Girls, if I'm not mistaken. That he was dating in real life. He had kids by.
Yeah, I think she had 3 of his kids. I think so.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
And that nigga got 3. Damn, that nigga younger than me.
This is crazy.
That nigga got 3 kids and a dead wife / baby mama. God damn, that's life. City High need to make a song about that.
That hits you hard there.
What would you do if your wife just died from cosmetic surgery and she had 3 kids and you hungry and the only way to feed them is to work on Wild 'N Out for a little bit of money?
That's messed
and
up.
And the can is gone.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, it went for a minute.
It did. It hit hard for me. But yeah, I guess the week's been okay for me. Treat me okay. You know, we're new month with June 1st. That's for the Geminis out there.
Geminis and Cancers. Geminis do not own June. Just point that out. Geminis are the first part of the month, and then Cancer season starts June 22nd.
Is that what you are? Are you a Cancer?
I am a Cancer, June 24th.
Hi. July 17th.
Oh, July 7th. Okay, all right, July. You know, the month of July was actually named after Roman Emperor Julius Caesar, but it was formerly named after the Roman god of thunder, Jupiter, because you know July is the hottest month of the year, so they wanted to make the most powerful god, the most powerful person in their mythological conception, the ruler of that month. But after Julius Caesar, their number one emperor dude died. There was like, you know what? Julius probably became a god. So let's just name the god month after him. July.
See what I'm saying? That's what I've been telling everybody.
Alexander.
See that?
That's what you've been telling everybody?
Yeah. They don't listen.
Man, we
Rolling
got
Thunder. Rolling Thunder.
y'all. What you got? But besides your birthday, I think all you got is what 4th of July coming
Right.
in July. Here in June, whether you want to celebrate or not. We got Pride Month. We got Juneteenth, and that sperm donor dad month. Father's Day, whatever you call it.
Boom.
Yeah. It's other people call it Sunday. Yeah, that's what.
Wow. Nah, shout out to all the fathers out there. We got some good dads out there.
We do. Even if the children would just realize that.
Children don't
the
realize
world
they
would
got
be a
good
better
mothers,
place.
so don't feel bad.
They don't realize that, and probably until the name is signed in the will and they collect the life insurance.
Exactly.
We got to do most of the punishments and stuff like that. So they hate our ass. We all Ike Turner to them or Joe Jackson.
I don't know. Mama's a little tough too now.
Yeah, but mama's doing it because they love them. Daddy doing it because he just want to hit somebody. And mama can cook, so she can make up for the beating. We can't do nothing.
Thanks for the sandwich, Mom.
Right. It's not coming down like, I'll make it better with mama's apple pie. What about you, Daddy? I can change your brakes. I can't drive yet. I'm 5. Good luck with that.
Hold on to that car.
All right. So tonight, we're going to talk about reparations. Let's pop that up there. Reparations. Should we fight for it or forget about it? Fight for it for years of slavery and systemic racism, Jim Crow, and all that stuff that happened afterwards. Should we receive reparations? Or is it at a point where we're just begging, and should we just forget about it? Because it doesn't seem like we're ever going to get it. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in depth. And we're going to talk about the pros and cons, or whatever you want to argue with it. The pros of why we should receive it, or the cons why we shouldn't receive it. So right now, people are saying, maybe we should receive reparations because it will repair what was done during chattel slavery. It will bridge the gap of the wealth gap that's going on between white people and black people. But the affirmative, what we're going to argue is this the resolution that we should be looking for to repair 400 years of racism in America and us being separated from Africa? Or the negative, what's reparations got to do with it? What's reparation but a secondhand way to recover racism? So, with that being said, I want to hear you guys' opinions. What do you think? Reparations, it's something that we should fight for. And then if you don't agree with it, tell us why you don't think we should get it. If you do agree with it, tell us why you think we should get it. What should be done? What form of reparation should be paid? Because, some people are just saying straight money should be 1,000, should be 100,000, should be 1 billion, should be 1 trillion. What number do you think is a good amount for the entire population to get? And we'll go on from there. So LT, I'll start off with you. Do you think it's a worthwhile fight to try to fight and get reparations for African Americans of slavery? Or do you disagree with that we should move on and find other ways to bridge the wealth gap to end systemic racism? Or do you think reparations will help all that, period? And you're on mute, by the way, too, just in case.
All right. Let's see. Goddamn. Do I feel as though we need is a strong word. Do I feel as though we are owed and due reparations? Hell the motherfuck yes. And not just not just us as Afro descendant Americans. I feel as though the entire continent of Africa is owed reparations. But I do feel as though your next question, I do feel as though the reparations cannot just be financial. To go off of what the good brother Dr. Umar Johnson said, the reparations need to be, they can be financial, but they need to be economically sustaining in ways of not just finances, but the access to financial literacy. We need educational reparations because for too many years, for decades, literally, yeah, decades, generations, our children have been going to school and only learning of history from a certain perspective, a Eurocentric American perspective. So there needs to be re education on the world lens from that of Africa, from that of the Afro descendant, because we don't start with that when we're talking about world history or biology for that matter. And there are mad racist. There's mad books with hella racist descriptions and caricatures of how Black people are actually put together genetically, and that's done purposefully just to make it seem as though we're not human. Like there's literal scientific documents that have been not forged, but actually certified and accredited because it was all white. Um, what is the other form? There's different forms of. I think there should be spiritual reparations. I think we should be allowed to, and
Yeah,
I
so
think that's something that I think spiritual reparation. That's something that we need to seek on our own. I truly feel as though we have to abandon we got to abandon white Jesus, like on some real shit. Like we got to, like that's how they kept us subservient during slavery. I know we think that praising the Lord is what got us out of bondage. But if you read that book, God rained down fire, 10 plagues upon Egypt for his people that were in bondage when he didn't want them there. For 400 years, we sat in bondage while they beat us and whipped us and allowed us to go to church and worship this particular God on Sunday. So the reparations that we need to seek need to be spiritual. We need to and we need we need what is it? We need physical reparation. Like honestly, we need that 40 acres and a mule. We need land. We made this country a profitable organization because America is a corporation at the end of the day. It is licensed, it is a business. That's why even sicknesses like COVID-19 that come out have a patent that go to it. Anything that happens in America, someone is making money off of it. Like there are literally people, black people like you and I walking around that we still are, or there is someone that makes money off of us just because of their connection to what they know from their grandfather and their great grandfather and their great great grandfather, what they currently own because of what your grandfather and your great grandfather and your great grandfather did for them. So there needs to be, I don't think we need these kinds of things to be given to us. We need to seek these things on our own. We need to figure out the means to do this on our own. Because I think it was also the good brother Dr. Umar, and we might have said it a few times on this cast, that in order to really sustain or to save the Black community, it has to be done by the Black community. Like
Mhm.
for too long, we're always looking for a handout. That's what it sounds like. We're always looking for a handout. We're always, can we get this? Can we get some type of assistance like that? And we play victim by saying, but the Asians got this, but the Jews got this. They play along unless we are willing to play along with white supremacy, and there are a few of us that are, we will not obtain that wealth. We will not obtain the economic, we will not obtain the educational progress that those other races have been able to obtain without hindrance, without direct terrorist attack, like we've seen in so many other counties. There's no sundown towns for Asian people. There's no get out of here, you little Hebrew boy, for anywhere that a Jewish person goes in America because you can assimilate. Your skin color blends in with the predominant skin color. And those that are, of the lighter hue don't particularly benefit from white supremacy, but you're not directly, you're not, it's not actively working against you as long as you work with it. With us, unless we work for ourselves, we're never going to free ourselves. You can't get free by file. You can't get free by depending on the government to bail you out. Not this government.
Okay. So basically, yeah, reparations is a good thing, but what good is it receiving the money if you don't keep it within the Black community and growing the Black community from the inside out, not the
Money
outside
without
in?
financial literacy is just going to help them get
R-
that money right the fuck back.
Right. Because there's a lot of rich people, but then a lot of people went bankrupt.
What
Hard
we'll
work.
do with the money when we get it, we'll go out and buy things to make us look and
Right.
feel rich.
That's probably part of the spiritual reparations you're probably talking about there, huh?
Because if
Okay.
we did that, if we love Jesus so goddamn much, Jesus was a carpenter. That nigga's salary was less than mine. Hot damn. Like he was poor.
I
He
don't know
was
if he made
broke. He
anything.
literally traveled from town to town, and people took care. Like if you like all of our black leaders towards the
Hmm.
end of their lives, they died broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the government, the one that we're currently trying to lend on for government assistance and welfare and Section 8, the government that we've been leaning on for decades, purposefully on their part, made it so that these men were not able to go to places and speak. It made it so that these men were not able to generate incomes to take care of their families, hoping that they would like just abandon their political aspirations, hoping that they would abandon their aspirations of liberating their people in hopes that
Hmm.
they would try to just make ends meet, devote time to trying to work in a steel mill or trying to work in somebody's shop somewhere to, take care of their families. Because at the end of the day, that's what a man is truly defined by. How you are able to take care of yourself and those that you care about. And if you can't do that in this society, which is a capitalist society, people look down upon you. But the thing that Malcolm and Martin and other great leaders had, their community chipped in. Their community. Hey, brother Malcolm, we saw that y'all didn't have no electricity for a couple of days, so all of us chipped in and we all put $1 or 2 down on your deposit. It should be on by 12 because these people meant something to what those people to what our people needed. So that goes along with the spiritual liberation. Because whereas you had Reverend Martin Luther King, his message was not of God. His message was of love, which God is love. But then on the opposite hand, you had Malcolm X, who was a Muslim and not talking about God whatsoever. He was not trying to lead you to Allah. He was just trying to lead you away from the white devil. So you get the multiple spectrums. You get black people that are allowed to express themselves, to worship in different ways. Because again, when Asian people come over here, they're allowed to be Buddhists. When Indian people come over here, they're allowed to be Hindu. It wasn't until 9/11 that Arab people were, called labeled terrorists for, their way, or Muslim people were labeled terrorists for, their worship aspects. Like literally, if you watch movies before 9/11, everything about the Arab culture and Muslim culture was a joke. Movies like Booty Call. They own a fucking shop and they own a quickie mart or some shit.
Yeah.
Movies
7
like
Eleven.
Soul Plane. Well, that was post 9/11. You see, and you see the difference. But only
Hmm.
black people, only our religious practices get demonized. Voodoo and hoodoo, those aren't like the way we think about it in modern terms, like zombie flicks and shit. It's so much more outside of that. And we do it on our own. The brainwashing and conditioning is so successful that we look at things in movies like Black Panther and Wakanda Forever, the mysticism that's tied into it, we call that witchcraft. We say, I ain't with all that devil and Satan shit. But you with drinking and smoking and going to the club and listening to music about killing each other and all of this shit. Like that's exactly the way of Satan. Like Satan is probably down in hell looking up like they really fuck with your boy. You know what I mean? They don't even know it.
All right, Preezy. Do you think reparations is a worthwhile fight to fight for, or do you think we should just move on to something else and just forget about it? Find other ways to bridge the wealth gap, bridge systemic racism between white people and us in this country.
Here's the thing. I don't think we should ever or will ever about it. Now, reparations, given back to us. We got to get the definition of slavery. And this is why we have to educate our children. You know, slavery, when you think about slavery, the definition is the ownership of a person as property. Okay. And that's in regards of labor. You're talking about people that were taken what in the 15th century they were taken. Um first of all, these ships, they sailed to West African coast, what, to get gold and spices, and then decided, hey, you know what's more valuable? Human beings. So now they took these
Oh,
people, they made them into slaves. we're talking these slaves were taken from their families. They never even seen their families. Their babies were taken, beaten, whipped, working 16 to 18 hours a day. Probably got 3-4 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
From the time the sun rose till it went down, slaves were working. And then they what did they feed them? Maybe I was doing a lot of reading the other day. They fed them cornmeal or some meat and peas and greens and other little things. And then what? They got one day off. So to me, reparation money is not gonna help us of what we went through for 400 years, and we still going through stuff. So I think that they can ever fix what was done. I just don't believe it. Came over and they took families and just people don't even they never saw each other again. They were beat. I read at one time to when you had the more slaves you had, the more money you had because they was making the cotton and all the other things. So
Tobacco.
they would actually and they would actually blindfold the mother and the son, and they would have sexual relations with each other just to keep that DNA in the family within the slaves. So women were raped, men were raped,
Butt broken.
yes, and they were degraded in front of their families to let them see, hey, you disrespect, you don't listen to the master, this is what you're gonna do. So they were humiliated. Reparation, there is nothing that you can give us, nothing that would repair what was done to our community. Nothing. And it's not just, it's so many genocides that have happened with Indians, with other cultures too. But it seems like with us, it's still going on. It's still going on. There was a video the other day. A gentleman was parked. I don't know if I sent it to you. He was parking. I think he was picking up his daughter from school, and this Caucasian woman stated, "Oh, you're blocking up the walkway or something." And he says, "Well, I was just being here for a few minutes." So she blocked him in.
Oh, I saw that.
She blocked him in, wouldn't let him out. He's being very pleasant, which some of us probably wouldn't have done that, but he was being very pleasant. And she had the audacity to say, "I'm white, we rule." So they still have that mentality that you a slave. At the end of the day, you're still a slave. So reparations to me, what is that going to do with all the slaves that were hung? They were murdered, tortured. I don't see what the government could ever do to fix that. You will never fix that. Never, ever. And I'm sometimes I don't even like to read these stories, but I know I have to educate myself. And that's why I say that we have to educate our children not to be racist. I don't believe in that. But educate your children and let them know where they came from and how all this began. Who made the White House? Who made all these things? Who built all these things? Educate them and let them see where they came from and the struggle. And maybe, I don't know, it's the Black community just needs to get together and realize how strong we are. Not to put any other race down, but the Jews put back in their community, the Asians put back in their community. Why are we bouncing everywhere else? Bang, 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 bang. Why are we doing that? Why we don't put back in our community? We are strong and we are powerful, and we need to realize that. And it is a shame after all these years, after all the things that our ancestors have went through, we still don't get it.
Okay. So would you say find another way besides a cash payout for reparations?
There's nothing you can give us. I don't feel there's nothing that can be given to us of what they've done. Nothing.
I get that. But I mean, it's something better than nothing, though. Because let's
What?
just say,
Well, money don't buy everything.
I know.
Yeah, because think about that. We
money
get
buys
we
safety
get a finite. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Breezy.
No, go ahead, Lord Trent.
We get a tangible amount of money. We get a number. That's going to be a cause for them to say, "We paid you. Shut the fuck up about
Mm-hmm.
it." And again, when that money is a tool. It is not a cure. What the black community needs is to heal. What we need is to be together on things as a front. Asian people as a diaspora. The Asian people are just like us in a manner. They come from an entire continent where we literally just look at one of them and call them all Asian. That will piss off a Chinese person, a Japanese person, a Korean person, a
Yeah.
Malaysian person. But when that commander in chief, Donald Trump, called it the Kung Flu and had white people out here attacking Asian people, Asian actors of all backgrounds, of all heritages and of ethnicities came in with the stop Asian hate, and if you don't stop Asian hate, we're not going to be in your movies no more. We're not going to write your scripts no more. We're not going to do this and we're not going to do that. And the Asian communities where they came from, regardless if it was China or Korea, regardless if our cultures had beef in the past, you're Asian, you represent us on a global scale. We're going to stand with you and we're not going to spend money on American products. We're not going to spend money when they want to. We're not going to go to the movie theaters when they want to fucking put a Marvel movie over here in China and make $1 billion off of China alone because it's a billion motherfuckers over there. They stand together better. The Hispanic community doesn't argue against each other. You don't see Hispanic men. You don't see fucking Carlos Mencia and George Lopez arguing about, man, do you go 50-50 with your abuela? Like, no, that don't fucking happen.
Black people have the power. They just don't even know it. If we would stand together, just like in New York City, they wanted to put the asylum seekers in our schools, in our gyms. And those parents went out there and they protested. Guess what? It didn't happen. And that's our thing. We need to stand up and stand together because we are so powerful. We don't even know it. Stand together. When things come our way and they disrespect us, stand up strong. Stop giving the businesses to the people that's disrespecting us. And like I said, I'm not about hate. I'm not racist. I wasn't raised that way. But when you think about the things that we have went through and what we are still going through, there is nothing that you can do. I don't see it. What? When women, African women were washing their clothes by the river and their babies was snatched and their babies was used for alligator bait. Think of if you read the stories of what they went through, how can you fix things like that? You can't.
Okay.
What about the movie Rosewood? What about when the blacks were rich, the rich black people finally
The
got
more
property and they burned it down? They couldn't even see black people with land and money and they burned it down. How
And
can you
that's I feel like why we won't get
can't fix
reparations.
something like
America would have to admit its guilt for everything because, like you said, there's no way you can pay a woman back there's no way you can pay a woman back or the descendant of that woman for raping her great great grandmother, for stealing her child from her, from forcing a child onto her. There's no way you can pay a woman back for that kind of hurt. There's no way you can pay back a group of people that you have going through extreme lengths to disenfranchise.
But
White
they do
people,
it every day, though.
Hmm?
I mean, they do it today, every day, though. See Bill Cosby rape accusers. I know it's never going to amount to the pain and suffering they're going to go through, but they do pay in punitive damages all the time. There's people getting $1 million or $100,000 for being attacked or had a family member killed by accident
And
at
those
a
people be
factory or
bullshit.
something.
If you settle outside of, if you wanted to go to court about if you were raped, I don't like if I am a man, if I was
Mhm.
sexually assaulted, raped, had my literal sexuality taken from me
Mhm.
in the most emasculating ways. There's no amount of money that can be placed upon my manhood, upon my spirit, upon my soul, that makes me say, okay, it's okay now. Now I
Yeah,
feel as
that would never
though I've
happen.
been reparated.
Just
You
like
know, yeah, that's never going to happen. Yeah, there's no amount of money that's ever going to pay it back. But that's the thing about forgiveness is you're going to have to be the one to let it go. That's part of the spiritual restoration too. You're going to have to let it go at some point. Money will help. You know, I know money is not the cure for all things of all ills, but it helps. It does help. I mean, they can, if they don't have to just give you a straight cash payout, they can give you money into financial literacy or form baby bonds that they can make payouts every year to direct your children towards education or to have home ownership and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be a straight cash payout, you know, but there's never going to be anything that's going to pay for the atrocities that were done. Not just slavery, because after slavery ended, there was still things. There was Jim Crow after that, and then even after Jim Crow and the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was signed, there was still going on up until today. There's nothing that's ever going to pay it back, but damn, it helps some, you know. Rape
Yeah,
victim
but
is
like I
never
said,
going to
more
be helped
things
by
have to
getting
come with the
paid
money.
or losing a life by accident in a factory or whatever. That's never going to bring that body back or bring justice back. Dang, can you get something? I mean, they can apologize, and that ain't going to help either. When you're going to have to let it go at some point, that's going to be part of your restoration or reparation, however you want to call it.
Black
well,
people
they
would be
must
so
get
willing to
billions,
let.
billions of dollars because they have done so much. Just like the college students, the
Yeah.
male college students who were all locked up in this room, and somebody set it on fire and killed all those black male college students.
God damn.
Yes, this happened. I mean, this happened probably like in the '60s or something like
Okay,
that.
I was about to say,
But
God
it's
damn.
so
Like we
many
still
things that was done to black people because
freaking see.
of the color of their skin. So I
Mhm.
cannot see what you could possibly do to fix it.
And it's coming from the place of
But you
black
ask
people would
God
be
for
so. I'm
forgiveness.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. But yeah, black people would be easy. You're right. It would be upon us afterwards to forgive and move forward. Black people are so ready to forgive and move forward, but nobody has truly apologized. Like there's again, it would have to lead to people admitting, or the government, whoever the fuck it would have. No, not the government. It would have to mean that the families of the people, of the descendants of slave owners,
Okay.
would have to individually come to people of this descent and say, or you know what I'm a big proprietor of, black people, you need to do your ancestry tests, you need to do your gene test, you need to do your DNA test, you need to figure out where you come from on a genetic level, you need to search and look through your family tree, you need to figure out who the fuck is in there, trace them the fuck down. Don't fall for the bots, don't fall for the scammers trying to deepinate you and shit. Figure out who you are and where you come from, because that is what is holding us back. We don't have a connection to who we are. If you like, black kids are born into this world, all you know is whatever your parents know.
Hmm.
If you have grandparents, you know you might be lucky enough to interact with them and learn some of what they know. But usually that don't extend to too much outside of cooking, cleaning, sewing, maybe your granddad real good with cars. Like we only have skills, or things that can be jobs in this workforce. We don't have the tools or the know-how to teach our children the things that we were doing after slavery, like tilling the land, growing watermelon, and become like they make fun of us for the watermelon shit, but that's because that's something we were actually growing as a cash crop here in America, something that we were growing as a cash crop over in Africa. But and also it would start there. You would have to give Africa money. Africa has been robbed. The coffee industry is a multi probably $1 trillion industry. The best coffee in the world comes from Ethiopia.
Yeah.
How economically stable do you think Ethiopia is? Not very, because they
Rep-
underpay them for it. Just like the coca that they get from western parts of Africa. Like there's so many things, the oil, the cobalt in our cell phones, the blood diamonds, Sierra Leone. You know what I'm saying? Like you would have to pay Africa back. And how do you, because we know the greatest thing stolen was people, was not only a people, but their children, which means the future of that people. And then a conscientious effort was in place to put them, or to keep them blind, deaf, and dumb, symbolically, pretty much. Yeah, there's no monetary amount that can. You would have to give us our own nation.
Mhm.
Well, they did at one point. Liberia. That's where that came from.
Liberia is very American. It's the most American country in Africa. There's
Yeah,
American flags all over the
Abraham
place.
Lincoln tried to get us to go over there as another answer. It's they're freeing the slaves and keeping us here.
I'd rather go to Ghana, where
form
it was probably my
Liberia
last
for black people to go there and form their own nation.
Reparations is like
Liberation, Liberia. That's where that comes from.
And that starts with black people doing their ancestry, learning where they come from in these places. Like it's a big ass continent, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we all know how just being born works. I can tell you I'm from North Carolina, but I was actually born in Georgia. Like there's so many ways to go. Like and we spend so much money traveling from state to state in America. We spend so much money traveling to these tourist destinations that we see all of our favorite celebrities going to, but we really don't take that time to spiritually invest in going back to our spiritual and genetic homelands. Like even if I am an Asian person I'm visually Asian, my parents are Asian, my grandparents are Asian. I was born over here in America, but I look like I am of Japanese descent. If you ask me what I am, the first thing that comes out of my mouth, I'm not going to say I'm American. I'm going to say no, I'm Japanese.
Okay. So if I'm understanding both of y'all correctly, I mean, I'm hearing that you're saying reparations, there's no amount of reparations that would pay for all the atrocities that happened over these centuries. But would you take the money still?
Man, reparations, like I'm dealing with you, right, Big Red? You've been cheating and cheating and cheating. And I'm like, I'm so sick of you. And you give me money like, here, shut up. Go get what you want. Don't bring it up no more. I know you're not going to forget, but I don't want to hear this conversation no more about it.
That sounds like a divorce.
No,
that's hush money.
I'm going to stay around because you done gave me money. You shut me up. You buying me. It's like you're buying me.
I get that.
Paying me off. So
that's why our black celebrities are so silent, because they've been bought.
Here you go.
That's why there's a few wealthy. There's a lot of wealthy, or not wealthy. Excuse me. There's a lot of rich black people. There's some wealthy ones, but guess what? They're silent. They're quiet.
Take this money. Shut up. I don't care no more. I know you're not gonna forget what I did, but I don't want you to bring it up no more. It's over.
But guess what? Now you don't have to be in the hood with the rest of it.
Shut up.
So it sounds like, let me see if I'm understanding what you're saying. Reparations would kind of almost be like a more expensive knocking down of a statute, Juneteenth holiday. That's like, hey, we'll give you this.
Yeah.
Stop talking about racism. Shut up. Take this money.
Forget about
there will be a contract.
Yeah. How can you forget about slavery? Forget about it. It's over with. It's done. It's already done. Let it go. Let it go.
That's been their excuse for years. Now the excuse after that would just be, look, we paid you for it. Like shut the fuck up. Like that's what it would be. It's like, we gave you the money. Now, if you don't get your out of here,
be quiet. You can never forget about something like that. Never. Never.
And then they won't let us forget about it. It's like, so like literally, you cut on Fox News one time, they'll be talking about how and think about that. If you're down bad, you know you don't want to ask nobody for money. So why would you want to ask the most abusive, the most violent, the most manipulative person that you fucking know? Like, why would you ask them for money? Because you know that they're only going to throw the fact that they gave you the money in your face. That's what black people would be doing if we accepted only money from America. Again, monetary, if you can, again, that's why DNA is important. Track down, because white people have this information. The government has this information. They know everything about us at our moment of conception, because your parents literally have to sign a birth certificate. Unless you have one of those to certify you were born, you don't even exist as an American citizen over here in this soil. But they know where you came from. They know where your last name came from, because they kept records of who came over here from the old country, who came over here from Spain, because they lost a couple fucking colonies. Like in North Carolina, they lost a fucking Roanoke colony. There was some lost colonies up in Virginia and shit. People was just going fucking missing. I think the Native Americans was killing them. That's my, you know what I'm saying? That's my smile. But they keep records. We know this. They keep track of the immigrants that come in New York. Preezy, you probably know that. In what's the island called? Goddamn. Fuck.
Ellis, not Ellis Island.
Is it Ellis Island?
You talking about the prison?
Is it a prison, or is that the hub where all the immigrants come in when they first get to New York?
Oh, Ellis Island. Yeah, you talking about Ellis Island with Statue of Liberty?
Yeah, and and isn't there like a book in there that people
You go to
come in
your
and
Hubbard
sign? It's like a book of
Masters.
records, right?
I'm not sure. I've never been
Breezy,
before. I don't know if she's
Now
still there.
I know I was looking up examples of reparations, and it was saying there's it's important to remember that compensation or the payment of money is only one of many different types of material reparations.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
that's what I was saying. Just besides the cash payout.
Right, physical, access to land, housing, healthcare, education. I don't care what you give us. It
Yo,
ain't
in
just about
Fayetteville, I drive by a
when you
Hebrew
do your
school. I
homework.
don't see black schools.
When you do your homework on slavery, I'm not talking about just sitting up there watching Roots. You go deep and see what our people went through. 6 to 8 months on a ship. They jumping off purposely because they would rather die than be in bondage. When you do
Or
your
to
deep
Killmonger.
homework on slavery, you will be like, hell with reparations. There's nothing that you can give us to what we've been through. And
We
that's
were,
how
we
I
were
feel.
blood.
So you have land and house and all this other stuff. We should have that regardless. And we had it. The land,
We're
the house,
owed it.
that
It's literally it's not reparations because it's owed to us.
healthcare,
You know what I'm saying?
education should be for us anyway. This shouldn't be because you're in this certain part of the town, you get the books and all these programs. But if you over here, you get this and you get that, and you got to work harder than this race. No, it shouldn't even be like that. So that means we still slaves because of their color or where they at. They get the books and the education, but we got to work harder to get it. That's not fair.
Work harder, pay more.
But the reparations, I think, would help with a lot of that, though, where we're struggling with the education and housing.
It depends on the nature of the reparation.
How long will this reparation last? Will it last 400 years?
Doubt it.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Guess
like
what?
once it gets into
then you can't. If it can't help us the 400 years that our people went through slavery, then
it's got to help the next 4 generations. You know what I'm saying? It's got to.
It should go from generation to generation because that's what they did to our people. They took.
And honestly, I would want answers
from us.
More than money, I would want some fucking answers. Like, why, out of all the ethnicities on the planet, why would we be targeted like this? Like, that's what I would want. Like, there's a much larger conversation outside of just should we take the money? Because what is attached to taking the money? Because again, we see the Jewish community get able to excel. We see the Asian community able to excel. We see all these communities able to excel, and that's because they typically vote in the ways that America wants them to vote. They're the go along, get along game. Like I said, like I was saying, I drive by a Hebrew school every day. Little Jewish kids are able to keep in mind, Israelites did not originate in America. Israelites are not Native Americans. But they have schools here. They have bakeries here. I went down to Miami and there was a Jewish history museum in Miami, a very Spanish ass town. But there was Jewish culture all over the place because they were allowed to bring it here. They were allowed to set it up. They were allowed to build that. Black people, we don't have that. And that's what the reparations would have to include. And not just including, okay, here's access to the things we were keeping you away from. I need to know, why were you intentionally keeping us away from this? Because it stems from a bigger, the reason I feel like, not that we won't get reparations, but the reason it's been so halted is because then it would actually put everyone on an even playing field. And then honestly, the playing field wouldn't be that even anymore. Because of how hard we have to work to thrive in the fields that we are subjected to, because we're a lost tribe over here in this abandoned fucking sea colony. We have to fit into their society by working in their means, and we're just doing what we know. Like initially, when we were on the slave ships, we were dancing for their entertainment. You know what I'm saying? It's literally and we were only doing that so that we could get out from the deck, so that we didn't have to continue to be remain stacked on top of our brother or cousin or aunt or whatever the fuck.
And why is it taking us so long to get the reparations? We are the only group that has not received reparations. Why? Why? I don't understand. Even if we wanted it, why is it taking so long for us to receive it?
Tell me why.
Why?
Because
We're
then
the
it's going to break
only group
somebody's pockets. Then
that
they
has
don't want
got
to break it for somebody they do not see a
reparations.
value. I get what y'all saying. I'll give a example.
Even the white people got
Analogy of
reparations.
this.
White people got reparations.
Right. I'll give you an example why, yeah, just giving a straight cash payout would be probably just a bad idea. You watch these game shows, right? Like what Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune. I don't know if you can name another one, but whatever that grocery shopping game is, where people run down the aisle and get groceries real quick for a cheap price.
Extreme couponing.
Yeah, okay, that's it.
That's not it. That was
Sure. Oh, it's not okay.
no.
But it's something like that. I forgot what it's called, but it's something like that.
I know what you're talking about.
But these people, they go win a brand new car, or they win a Suzuki motorcycle, like on The Price is Right or whatever. And when they win it and they take it home, and it's expensive, it also is in a certain tax bracket where they can't afford it, and a lot of times they have to give it back. And what I feel would end up happening, let's just say they gave everybody $100,000, and you're going to be in a certain tax bracket, and you're going to have to pay a good chunk of that money back, and then you're going to be broke again. And then you're not going to know what to do with the rest of your life because you don't have any financial literacy. You've never been trained to work with that much money like that. And then you're back in the same spot that where you were before. Even if it was $1 million, you can't just get $1 million and just be okay with it. That's why a lot of those people who win those lottery contests end up being broke most of the time because they don't know how to handle that money. So I don't know how great of an idea would it be to just give African Americans of slavery descent the money payout and nothing else. What I will say is if you would add programs to give financial literacy, to make bonds for education, to make housing cheaper to where we can own our own houses or business loans to make with low interest rates to make payments on getting our own businesses and then reacclimating that back into the community would help more than just a straight payout. But the Japanese of the internment camps in World War II, they got reparations. Indians, they got reparations, even though they didn't get everything they were supposed to get. I say, shit, if they're gonna give out reparations, they might as well give us some too. Shit, they gave people money for COVID. And I mean, they didn't do well. I mean, they did something.
They gave those people money because they considered what happened to them a travesty, a tragedy,
but ours was much worse.
And yeah, that's because they don't consider what happened to us
a tragedy. Yeah,
because and it's primarily because they still benefit from it.
The government doesn't want to do it. Listen,
well,
even Harriet Tubman.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Even Harriet Tubman had a Community Investment Act where she had it was to help with education, home ownership, business ownership barriers. The government don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They had plenty of time to give us reparations. They don't want to do it.
Even Rosewood got reparations, though. Maybe not enough to account for what they should have got, but the tragedy at Rosewood, they got reparations.
They are slowly, patiently waiting on the last survivors of the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre to die so they don't have to reparate them folks. Like
who exactly would give the reparations to? That's another question. Is it because we got the government, we got schools, we got banking,
student loans,
we got descendants, descendants of slave owners?
That's where a genealogy DNA test would come in. You would learn where you come from, where your origins were. In the same way, they could call your name for a draft if they just wanted to, because they have access to because the government has access to your information. Again, if you're getting mail, the government can find you. You know what I'm saying?
Should slave owners be a part of that payment?
Yes, they should.
I mean,
because
descendants of slave owners.
Their family has profited off of the slave mint from my family. So if they have been born into a better financial situation, and obviously they've been born into a better legal situation, they've probably been born into a better credit situation. Off of that, yes, they should be involved. Like There's no like if your parent dies today, you would inherit their debt. Like it's on you to take care of those things.
How?
You guys share names. Again, we were given these names because we were possessions. Now we are people, but they still profit off of us as possessions. When we enter contracts or anything of the sort, putting a uniform on your chest, you literally become property of that organization, of that company. We have been property of America since we have been here, even though we've gotten our quote unquote freedom. And we're property because the people that profited from the
Mhm.
work of our ancestors are born into better financial situations out of a or because of a system that is created to can continue to keep those profits going. That's why we haven't gotten it back. That's why we won't. Or again, I don't want to say we won't get reparations, but yeah, giving us reparations would, I feel like they feel like would destabilize their community, and not just giving us the financial reparations. Because again, we would just give it right back to them. We would go out and buy bullshit.
Right,
But
right.
the
Oh,
government don't know who to give it to. They don't know who should receive the reparations.
they
How
would because
much should be
they could
rewarded?
they have record of all of that. They have records going. They if the FBI showed up at
Oh.
your doorstep today, they know your mother's name, your father's name,
Like
your
they got to trace.
grandfather's
They
name.
need to trace their heritage.
But what would happen with some of those, let's say, slave owners who had kids with black women?
Then
And
their family.
Hmm?
You're owed whatever the family got when the rich family member died. Because that's literally just how everyone else got. That's literally what some men would do if I'm a white slave owner and I fucked one of my black slaves and I got a boy that could pass a paper bag test. I could go to a local place in my city and have him declared white on legal documentation when I go certify his birth on his birth certificate. These things are all kept track of. Like we literally have government agencies that are for records and documentation of people's existence. That's what a social security number is.
Let me read this real quick, guys. That I
Yeah.
just looked up. It said who should receive reparations. It says one one key question after deciding what a reparation package should include is who should qualify. In short, a black person who can trace their heritage to people enslaved in U.S. states and territories should be eligible for financial compensation for slavery.
South Carolina and Maryland.
Meanwhile, black people who can show how they were excluded from various policies after emancipation should seek separate damages. For instance, a person like Senator Cory Booker, whose parents are descendants of slaves, would qualify for slavery reparations, whereas Senator Kamala Harris, Jamaican immigrant father and Indian immigrant mother, and President Barack Obama, Kenyan immigrant father and white mother, may seek redress for housing and or education segregation. Sasha and Malaya Obama, whose mother is Michelle Robinson Obama, a descendant of enslaved Africans, would qualify. Wow.
Because
Okay.
we were property. They kept documentation of us. And they did that by giving us their last names. So and so Jefferson, so and so
Gotta
Jefferson,
go to
so
the
and so
census
Jackson.
records.
Well, let's pop this question in then. Okay. If
Yeah.
we're talking about slave owners, are we going to talk about Indian slave owners? Are we going to talk about black slave owners?
Mhm.
Are they going to be paying back reparations too? Because there was over 3,000 black slave owners in the South
If
too.
they were slave owners in America, because you're right, there were black slave owners. There were black people that when they got free, what they bought was slaves.
Yeah.
They
Now,
bought, they bought
let me preface that a little bit. I don't know how big a percentage actually bought some and did it for the case
small
of
percentage.
freeing them later on. Not all of them were like horrible slave owners, but there were percentage that just bought them just so they could free them later. But they still had
Some of
their
them bought
own.
them. I mean, we gotta like they bought them because that's all they knew how to do. Like they got some money, and they was like,
Yeah.
well, the most profitable thing I know to do is
If they're doing it, then why not? Why can't I do it? That's how the mindset was. Some of them were.
after. I mean, some women are pimps. Like you know what I'm saying. After so
Right.
long of being pimped, yeah.
Do you think they should pay? And I don't know how you could even prove that they didn't do it in a malicious act.
Well, I
or
mean,
just
it
bought
doesn't
them
have
just
to
to
be
free them.
malicious. If we are to consider the act of owning another human being as wrong, then you are subjective to that.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, and I guess forgiveness. I guess, because we were talking about, these government, businesses, banks, schools actually admitting to these atrocities and saying, apologizing for it. How far does it go back? Do we get an apology for even being sold into slavery? I'm talking about from Africa to the slave owners that brought us here. Do we go that far back? Not for reparations, but just for apology.
Now we would have to go to the continent to that for that, which I'm all with.
It was
I mean, well, and it wouldn't even just be Africa because there's a movement of
5 million.
first it was black women against black men. Now it's black Americans or African Americans against Africans on the continent. I thought Black Panther solved that for us. I thought we had that conversation already, but it's a new divisive distraction. And what we forget is there are so many other nations that we have to address in that slave trade. We have to address the Portuguese. We have to address
Yeah.
the Ottoman Empire, those descendants. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We got to address Arabs. Sorry, y'all. What I'm saying? Hey, look, because there's a lot of like that's the problem we're having in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Like modern Egyptians that obviously look more Arab in northern Africa, they look more Mediterranean. Some of them could probably pass a paper bag test. They get offended when you call them black. They get offended when you call them African. They
Mhm.
would much rather be called Mediterranean, MENA, which is what the fuck is MENA? Mediterranean, North African. You know what I'm saying? And even when they come over to this country, they have to like on documented forms, they have to classify themselves as white because there's an effort to separate that very historical, very sought after, very rich part of Africa from the rest of Africa. Everything below Egypt is considered sub-Saharan. And so yeah, we have to address that with Spaniards, with the French. There are still African countries that speak French to this day. Like better days, they speak like 6 different languages. Shout out to them. But yeah, like we would have to address everyone that was involved in the slave trade and everyone. Luckily,
Fucking 12.5 million blacks who were shipped in chains from Western Africa. So if they want to give reparations for those people that ancestors were slaves, 12.5 million, and the ones that died and all. I mean, what are they waiting for?
all they would have to
Why is
do
it so hard for
is
them? If everybody else can give reparations, what are they waiting for?
Well, here's why I think it's probably going to be very hard. At least, probably with. It should be easier with this administration, you would think, because of the promises
he's a
Biden
years
has
loading
tried
debt.
to give us. But as I saw today, I don't know if y'all saw the news today.
Yeah.
The House of Representatives, or the Republicans, have turned down the loan forgiveness, and they keep saying, "Well, we're not going to put the country more in debt because we're not going to raise the debt ceiling because inflation is so high, and interest rates are
Just
so
gave
high."
Ukraine $1 billion though. I'm sorry, but yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And to Preezy's point, yeah, what are you waiting for? Because it's for a war, for space. Only 2 people or 3 people are ever going to go in space in this whole damn continent, or at least in this country. And they can form billions and billions of dollars, probably trillions, to pay for the space program. And you're telling me they have no money to pay for this? I understand you. If you print money, you decrease the strength of the dollar and all that, but no, there's things that are more important that you can allocate that money to than space. We ain't leaving the Earth. Let's get out of here. We're not going anywhere. There's only going to be a few select people that are going to go to the Mars planet or the moon, period. So if
And
you
think
can
about that,
afford
y'all.
to
Like
do
rich
that,
people are
you can
always
afford to allocate money elsewhere besides the stupid things for war or whatever. Fighting wars that have nothing to do with us. Nothing. Ukraine, for that matter. They
they
don't
have
have
something to
anything to
do
do
with
with the
us, and that's
population of the United States, but they do have something to do with the interest of the United States, if you
I
get what
know,
I
and that's
mean.
what's fucked up about it. It's so sneaky and underhanded and right in our face that they do it. Like, think about that shit. Rich people really complain about higher. That's when rich people get political. When a candidate comes in that's apparently going to raise taxes for the rich and give to the poor, whatever the fuck. That's the only time rich people come out this woodwork and talk about, are we really going to let this kind of like they but to spend money on frivolously just going to space, like a couple billionaires really did that the other fucking week. They really just went to fucking space. We really just gave Ukraine $1
That's what
billion
I'm talking.
to fund a war that, yeah, like there only has to be an ulterior motive. Weren't we just worried about China and they spy balloons? Why are we getting so close?
Shooting it down. Right.
Like there's so many distractions that are set up to distract us from the fact that, hey, them loans, go back to paying them shit.
Yeah.
Go back. We don't want to say it out loud, but go back to paying them shit. What was Kamala in Africa for? Like she was trying. Did Kamala Harris go to Africa to make gay marriage legal or some shit? Was that did I hear that
Um,
correctly?
I don't
I don't
know.
want to
I
spread
don't know.
misinformation, but
There was some leader in Africa. I know he passed a law recently that gay people could be executed by law. Maybe that's the same thing you're reading.
that's
Uh,
not very Pride Month.
yeah, I don't know which country that was. Maybe she went there for that, but I know the United States was like, well, that's going to mess up having people travel to your country back and forth. You know how they do. They try to have embargoes on trading and they restrict people from going to try to hurt their pockets if
I
they
don't know
don't
if they
pass
should be
certain
killing
laws.
people, though.
Say what now? Go ahead.
I said I don't know if they should be killing people though. I
Yeah,
digress.
yeah. Well, they don't really play that in a lot of places in
Yeah,
Africa.
ain't no gay in GA apparently.
Shut up, man. Yeah, but I'm surprised somebody ain't made that song. Yeah, I mean, and I feel y'all hear what y'all saying. I'm not against, for the most part, what y'all saying. I still think something is better than nothing. Just like when 1865 came and they were supposed to get the 40 acres and a mule.
Yeah.
Something would have been better for something, than nothing. Nothing could make up for everything they went through for the free slaves. Hell, they still didn't get it because Andrew Jackson, pushed that away. They were supposed to get the lands of South Carolina to the coast of Florida.
I think about
About
that. Andrew
40,000
Jackson, we know he
acres
slept
of
with
land.
his slaves. There are so many black people with the last name Jackson. Why have they not been like why are those people not in why have we not seen a black person to come out and say, "Hey, I'm actually a descendant of Thomas Jefferson." Like those people should be reparated. Like those people should and the government has access to that. Like especially if it came from our founding fathers, if it goes that deep. Like those bloodline like that's the one thing America is very, very low key about. They love a good bloodline. That's why they force us to keep up with the fucking Kardashians. Because we love the progression of we are essentially family figures. Like we love seeing
Mhm.
a household, however dysfunctional it is. We love seeing the family unit because as humans, that's what we know. That's how we, traverse life. We come into the world with a family, we come into the world to seek a family, and when we're in this world, we're trying to make sure that we leave it better for our family. That's how some families are. There's literally about 10 families in the world that control everything. The Rothschilds are one of them. Babe, who one of the other 10 families that run everything in the world?
I know the Rothschilds for sure because they control the media. From
Yeah,
what
they got a patent on COVID. Just saw that. The Rothschilds out
banking
here
anyway.
making that money
Um,
off of that shit.
who owns maybe it is the Rothschild, the AP Press.
Probably one of them, but it's all like not to diverge. It's all the bloodlines. It's all the lineage. You're the son of this person who was the son of this person who was the son of this person who had this who owned this. Emphasis on owned, and it was left to you because you are his heir. You were of his lineage. You know what I'm saying. You were the last living descendant of George Washington. Nigga. So
Hey,
you get
well, let me ask you this, because you mentioned Kardashians. Should the kids get reparations? Their kids?
the Kardashian kid.
Yeah, I mean, Kanye's part of them.
They're Romanian.
And they're billion, they're billionaires. Well, Kim Kardashian's Kanye's a billionaire. Well, he was a billionaire, but he'll
I
probably
mean,
get a
yeah,
part of
I see no reason against it. There's no reason that I mean, that's literally what people were marrying for and partnering for in their relationships and their in their unions. Right. How
it.
much does your family have? My family has this. If we combine families, we'd be a pretty strong fucking family. Yeah, motherfucking Westeros on some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's really what people was about. Like they like, yo, if you guys like that's honestly one of the ways in which we trade it because as Preezi said earlier, the greatest resource is humanity.
Mhm. Do they need it though? That's what I'm saying. That's the only reason I asked. I was like, man, can we just give that to somebody else and split that a little bit more evenly amongst
No,
people
they
at a
don't need
certain
it,
tax
but
bracket?
shit, they sell their products for just as it, they sell their products for expensive ass prices that only their rich friends can fucking afford. But
That's what I'm saying.
they market it to us. So we help them get richer. Why? Why do we always settle for helping the rich get richer instead of
That's
getting
what they
rid of
always complain about
people?
during political times for people. The top 1% is getting in a lower chunk of the tax bracket taken off of the money they earn each year. They always are fighting for that every year.
It's so funny. It's like they love videotaping themselves giving back. They love talking about when they go give back. But when the government, when the IRS, when the federal government tells you, "Hey, we need you to give back a little bit more of that money, that all that money that you be rapping about, all that money that you know what I'm saying, you literally held like 50 G's to your ear. We kind of need
Mhm.
that in like your taxes this year because that hood that you rap about is still impoverished. You know what I'm saying? So when you rap about Chicago, you rap about how dirty it is. You know, it's almost like you're there, but you don't because you're wealthy and you don't live in these communities anymore. Meanwhile, a person like Jay-Z, you rap about how hard it is in Brooklyn, but you're not putting a stadium in Brooklyn isn't feeding Brooklyn. It's not taking care of Brooklyn. There's no
No,
reason that again, celebrities from excuse me, these impoverished areas are not taking care of these areas to make them unimpoverished. Like again, when Jewish people come to this country, they made good. When Hispanic people come to this country, they make good. They make sure that their communities are able to thrive on not just a crab in a barrel type way and a survival of the fittest type of way. It's literally a community. They come over here as a village and they help each other as a village. We as black people, because our village has been literally and figuratively burned the fuck down, we only have this mentality of just like running around like we're on fire, just trying to get the fuck out of this burning hellhole.
what do you guys think about getting baby bonds?
Baby bonds, like getting your child as a baby a bond, that's dope. You should do that.
Kind of like that. It's like a seed savings. Let's say you get a seed savings of like $1,000 at birth, interest bearing account, and it'll get deposits each year based on your family income, and it's publicly funded, and you will receive that up until you're a full grown adult. And but you can use that based off of, like I say, opening a business. You can use it for school or owning a home.
Now that's theirs. I'm gonna use that for yeah. That's something I would literally again, I would prepare my child with financial literacy. Like I
Yeah,
would have that for them at the time of their birth and then throughout their formative years, along with those playful childhood things, integrate those and like start having your kid do tasks around the house, start giving them little coins and shit. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Start teaching them how to trade, like start teaching them the concepts of building and trading and investing, not just saving their money but investing their money. If you
yeah,
want something, owning things, like start building or also implanting those seeds of information. That seeds, like financial seeds, are great, but we also need to start investing in seeds of information at early ages for our kids. Too often we just say we need to let our kids be kids, but the world isn't going to do that. Once they hit a certain age, a certain digit, a certain thing that can be determined on a document, the world is going to say, well, they're this age and they've been through this and they've done this and this, so they should be able to, yeah, we gave them this amount of money, so they should have been able to pay their bills on time, but they didn't. So we have to start teaching our children those things, and then When they become of age, 18, 21, whatever the hell, whenever they're ready to leave the nest, you tell them, well, hey, this is literally the moment you've been waiting for. I've been preparing for you. Like it should, every raising a child should literally be like a shonen jump. It should literally be like an anime. It should literally be the hero's journey. I've been preparing you for this moment your entire life. I've given you all the tools that you need. You will be a financial
We'll do the
mastermind.
mouth too.
Will be a financial mastermind. No one will be able to decipher your frugal abilities.
Good job on that. Breezy, what do you think about Buddy Bond's idea?
Yeah, that's a good idea to start the children off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's better than just giving, like I said, at least for the kids, just giving them money and just like, hey, do what you want to do with it. Go buy you a new PlayStation 5 if it's ever in the
Travel the
store.
world. I would tell kids, travel the fucking world.
I'm more for education. I think.
But you can use it for anything you want. Well,
right.
Anything like as far as a business, owning a home, and school too, which I think would help bridge the wealth gap.
Yes.
Instead of just giving you money and just not having any literacy at all. And like LT was saying, like I like what he was saying, he can teach them along the way each year how to spend and save that money, or where important places to put this money at.
Yeah, that is true. I agree.
But for the adults, though, sure, that's what I'm worried about.
Oh Lord!
Because how are you going to teach if you don't know? See what I'm saying?
Exactly. Shit, adult education needs to be like for the adults. I would say that money needs to be put towards that kind of education for them, and it should be that should literally be a job now. Like we should be paid based upon learning because we have a whole bunch of unlearning to do.
Mm-hmm. How about you allocate that money out too? Kind of like the bond, kind of like, I don't know, Social Security. You get a certain amount out each year.
Yep. Get it in the form of something that can only be, handled in a certain way, a voucher of some sort, a grant of some sort.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something that, you can apply for. You put your information into like they always have you do. They run a check. Oh, you actually quite the same way you could just type in your name, your date of birth, and the last four of your whatever the fuck, and they can say this is your so and so score, this is your this is your that. They can do that for your entire existence. They could do that for all the people connected to you. Like you call into somewhere, they say, okay, I see that your Trenton Marshall is so and so your father. Like yes, random establishment that I'm calling, you already know that information because it's just readily available to you. So the fact that we have history books, we have these documents, like literally some of the most famous shit is just documents. The Declaration of Independence, the Constitution. These are literally just documents of things that people said, hey, somebody take notes. Somebody make sure if we ever need to go back and figure out who said this and who did what and who gets this. That's what a will is. That's what a last will and testament is.
Okay. Preezy, you got anything else to say on the matter?
Nope.
Okay. Well, we're going to move on from reparations, and now we're going to deal with appropriation, if you believe in this next story. So this, I'm going to say Asian because I don't know exactly what she is. So I'm probably going to look a little racist because I don't know what she is. But
Asian
I'm going to
beat up a black woman, so you're good.
Yeah, I think I'll be good. This lady was made I don't know, it was an Instagram or one of those social media sites where people came at her for sounding quote unquote black. And she came at people saying, no, this is how I sounded. I grew up around black people, so this is how I speak. How do you really want me to sound or whatever? So she's complaining. So before I even go in that, this is a Leave It or Medicated part of the show. Leave It or Medicated. Leave it if you have no problem with the story. Medicated if you got a problem with the story, and then you'll tell us why. Let me find the video and play it right quick, and I'll let y'all decide. And if you think she's appropriating black culture, quote unquote, or you don't have any problem with her. All right, let's see the video right quick. pop up here.
There's been mad controversy about my voice and what the fuck I said. Bitch, let me tell you something. This is the last time I'm gonna fucking say this shit. My voice is how the fuck I fucking sound. I'm not gonna fake some shit for 19 fucking years. That don't make no fucking sense. Bitch, if I grew up around the fucking hood, if I grew up in the projects, I'm gonna speak how the people around me speak. If I go to school with people who speak like this, I'm gonna speak how I speak. That's not faking or nothing like that. You a product of your environment. Y'all bitches should know that shit. And bitch, if I live in China, I damn well be speaking mad Chinese. Like, come on, this is fucking science, bruh. Like, not even science. It's ABC, motherfucker. Like, come on. You telling me I shouldn't be speaking like this, so how should I speak like? You tell me how I should speak like, and that's not being stereotypical. Because I'm Asian, because I look Asian, I should speak a certain way. That's not being racist in itself. That don't make no sense. And on topic of me saying the N-word, nah, that was all on me. That shit was dead wrong on me. Don't mean nowhere. Don't mean if I grew up around people who said it. Don't mean who referred to me who said it.
Nice. That. Okay, so
I ain't even catching.
Me either. I like her.
So
she come to the barbecue.
She can come to the barbecue. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
there's so many people that's mad that you just said that.
She's American. She's Americanized. I mean,
she is
leave the girl alone. I mean, she hung out with people. She
can come to the fast food restaurant. She ain't come to the barbecue. Not based off of that.
She ain't come to the barbecue?
Nah, she got to do something. She got to pay back some reparations or something.
Oh, shoot.
Can't just come to the barbecue just anytime you want to.
And say reparations.
Yeah. Even Dorothy had a hard time getting to the Wizard of Oz. She got to work for that.
Oh, for real.
So
I was about to say something, man.
Don't say it. Don't get canceled.
Oh man,
been canceled every show last month. Don't get canceled in June. All right. So the thing is, statement is it's not it's not cultural appropriation. Leave it if you agree with that statement. Medicate it if you disagree with that statement. Okay. So LT, you want to leave it or medicate it? It's not cultural appropriation. Leave it. If you disagree, medicate it.
I'm gonna leave it.
You're gonna leave it. All right. Tell us why. Hold up. Didn't make no noise. Hold on. Let me rewind. It didn't go all the way back to the time.
Are you ready? Go!
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it because I do agree that a person is a product of their environment. They're gonna speak in a way that is most natural to them. I can't check someone on how they speak because you could literally tell me I'm culturally appropriating right now at this very moment. What culture do you think I'm appropriate? Like it could really you could toss it back and forth. Like if she grew up in this kind of area, I can't confirm or deny that. Like I it does sound weird because it's like, do you talk to who is this woman? Also there's that. Like just random vaguely not vaguely, very obviously Asian woman. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it. Shout out to her for apologizing for saying the N word. So I guess that would be down the neck. Don't do that shit again. Goddamn. I'm I'm trying so hard to not do or say anything racist in response to this, just to be petty, like not maliciously, but just to be petty. But yeah, I really don't care as much like about the way someone speaks. If that's natural to them, if they're truly being true to themselves, and it's I who had a problem with it? It's like I don't even know how to stretch it into 2 minutes. I'm literally just rambling because what is people don't know what cultural appropriation means. It seems like cultural appropriation is what Elvis did. Cultural appropriation is taking from a people, going to or meshing with a people and adapting their culture and giving them no credit for their input and their creation of it. Someone having a particular speech pattern or way of speaking is not culture unless they're doing it for a specific again. I would have to know exactly who she is if she's doing like an Aquafina type thing. We don't code switch all the time. Like motherfuckers know you have a voice that you have with your friends. You have a voice that you have with your manager. Like Stop playing. Like, you muted, Big Red.
Sorry, Preezy. Is it cultural appropriation? Leave it if you agree. Medicate it if you disagree.
I think I'm gonna leave it. I think. I don't know.
Wait a minute, let me switch that guy because I messed it up. It's not cultural appropriation. Okay, it's not cultural appropriation. Leave it with that statement. If you disagree, then medicate it.
Leave it.
Okay. Let's see. Tell us why.
Are you ready? Go!
It's just like this. My thing is when you look at her, and I'm not trying to make fun of no race, but what do people expect? As soon as you look at her, she's supposed to go, oh, tang. That's not fair. You know, but I don't like the fact, I mean, because she talking like that, what automatically you just think it's African American. You know what I mean? The way she's talking. It's like a white person. If a white person is wearing box braids, is that can you accuse her of cultural appropriation? She want to wear braids. She like braids. What's wrong with that? She likes the style. If a black person wants his hair in a punk rock, do we have to say, oh, he wants to be white? He wants to look white. That's not right. Let people be the way they want to be. Obviously, she's saying she hang around the hood. I mean, I don't like that, phrase just because she talking like that. Why you gotta be around the hood? So now you just classifying as it's a black thing. I've seen Caucasian kids talk like that. So I don't think she's probably upset because people are saying, "Oh, why you trying to be black?" I don't. It shouldn't even be that you trying to be black. She being herself. If her friends, if she around people and they talk hip hopish and stuff like that, they talk, like that. Leave her alone. She's Americanized. You look at her and they expect for her to just start talking Mandarin or whatever. No, she speaks very well English. And I don't see what the problem is. Leave the girl alone. She hit. She probably got styles, and people hating on her. That's all. That's what I'm saying. People hate on everything. Can't do nothing. Right. Let people be what they want to be and do what they want to do. I mean, she looked like I told her she can come to the barbecue. You said she can't come to the barbecue. She can come to the barbecue because she's probably more fun than she's probably fun. You can see she probably have a fun personality, so leave the girl alone. God.
What she bringing to the barbecue?
That's what I was saying.
Oh, don't she bringing fried rice, chicken wings? Don't matter.
Is it chicken?
See, that's what it would tell me. Like, what are you gonna bring something that you think I would eat?
Not right.
Or are you gonna bring me
right.
something from your culture?
That's not right. You ask her. She could bring a can of soda. She could be the person that's bringing the juices and the waters. Don't we break it up like that? You bring.
But you try and make an impression.
No, I'm just saying. We can't do that because now we being racist. Oh, you look at her, so she gonna bring the chicken wings. You gotta make sure it's chicken wings or it's not something else.
Hey.
No, that's being. You can't do that. Because then you don't like when people say fried chicken and watermelon.
No matter me, I eat fried chicken regardless. That ain't no insult to me.
Yeah, but it might
It's
be
an insult to me, but I like it.
An insult to other people. So we gotta just. Listen. I don't. People saying, "Oh, why she act like?" Listen, she hang around. Who she just. It's learned behavior. Learn behavior. She trying to be cool with everybody. She trying to go with the flow. So just like she said, when she go to her town, she speaks her language.
More issue with her grammar.
I don't know. Everybody's different.
Right. Okay.
We should knock people for being who they want to be. I mean, I didn't see nothing wrong with it. I actually thought it was cool. I was like, wow, she speaks very. Her English is very good. It's clear. No, I ain't see nothing wrong with it. I just think people nitpick on the littlest things. It's just too much. That's why the world is the way it is. Because we criticize every little thing. Gig says she coming to the barbecue. Gig, she coming to the barbecue, Gig.
All right,
That's the fire.
I'm not gonna lie, I might be a
Make that
little
fire just as big as Big Red fire. Come on,
because I'm gonna like I'm not even gonna lie. It might be a little racist of me, but I would expect, yeah, if you're from a different heritage or yeah, different ethnicity, and you come into the barbecue, bring like your ethnicity because I would be more offended if you brought what you thought I would eat as an African American.
But she
Like,
probably asked, "Hey guys, what would you guys like me for me to bring?" Don't most people do that? Even with us, we'll ask, "Hey, Big Red, you having a barbecue? What you want me to bring?" You know what y'all want to what y'all want me to
Yeah, she gotta ask us because if she volunteers, oh, I'm bringing chicken and watermelons.
some
Oh, wait
spring
a minute.
rolls.
Why you gotta bring
I'm
that?
saying this because
Hey
I like
guys,
Chinese food, so
hey,
I don't know
hey,
what
you
part
know,
of Asia
I'm,
she's from.
She probably take offense to that.
but she might say, "Hey, I got a
I
excellent
like Japanese food too.
I got
Why
an
I gotta
excellent
bring Chinese food for?
I got an excellent
How
sushi.
what you gonna say?
Y'all want some sushi? I'm excellent in making sushi.
I love sushi.
Why
I
not?
do.
Why
No.
you guys mention sushi for?
Oh, man.
You see, they
I
see
can
how
keep
you
going. I
tell
love
me.
Hey,
bulgogi. Like I love different cultures' foods. You know what I'm
listen,
saying? Like
it's good to have different friends and
Yeah.
nationalities. It's good. You should. You know, I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with it. That's what's wrong with the world today. We don't. Come on, we gotta get off of that. Hey, you.
Okay.
because yeah, if we calling what
We
she's doing talking black, we really have to again. That's the bigger
disrespecting ourselves
conversation.
because there's no such thing as talking black. That's the thing we gotta
Yeah,
stop. There's no such
that's
thing as talking black. I've never
that's
heard
the
it.
bigger conversation about
Ignorant.
what does
That's
black
ignorant.
mean to us.
Yeah, that's ignorant. Oh, so we
That's
all,
ignorant.
yo, you know what I'm saying? Yo, that's us? No. We shouldn't even accept that. So people probably say, oh, she trying to be black. What is trying to be black?
Because
Now,
yeah, I'm
you're
listening to her, and
racist.
she
Now
sound. I'm not. I don't want to say
I
she
ain't going
sounds
there with
stupid,
that.
you're
but
racist to your own kind. What is being black? So I say that's white. Well, why don't we go and have a cup of tea and some
I'm
cheese?
saying
That I can't be black talking like that.
I'm
That's
Tyrone Cobble.
That's what I'm saying. We got to
yeah.
stop with this cultural thing. Oh, she's
Yeah.
trying to be black. She's being herself. Press that fire thing. Because I don't went over twice.
Press the fire.
I
We
like
became
that.
a fan of this
I
moment.
like that fire button.
All right, let me. I'm gonna leave it. Yeah, let me give it a go myself.
Are you ready? Go!
Okay, so pretty much what you guys said. Yeah, I don't think in this case it's cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation usually is when someone takes credit for a certain part of a culture as their own, at a la, well, yeah, somewhat a la Elvis. People were giving him praise for doing stuff that black people were doing before. So that
Bless
I think would be cultural appropriation. And it was good music, it was good dancing. If it was cultural appropriation, do you really want to take credit for that? I mean, because if that is what's considered talking black, then do you really want to take credit for that? I mean, she can talk the way she wants to, but why are we taking credit for that? Hell, if anything, I would say that's taking cultural appropriation from poorly educated people. Thing. So why would you want to take that? You're taking cultural appropriation from them. So should you get fined for that, or should you get in trouble for that? And I'm speaking to the black people who are upset that this woman is speaking the same way. So I mean, we take so many different things from other cultures. I mean, shoot, the tattoos from China or Japan, the movies, the Wu-Tang Clan, whatever. We take so many different things, but we appreciate those things. I don't say we don't take it, we use them and we appreciate those things. Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon. I mean, that movie could have been made without taking a little bit of something from other people's culture, but we appreciate those things. And that's what makes the melting pot of the United States great, when we can appreciate those things, not appropriate, but appreciate. And this girl, I think, was appreciating, well, because she probably grew up in an environment, like she said in the video, she just appreciated where she grew up with, that she talks, that's how she talks amongst her friends. So yeah, leave her alone. I don't think she's doing anything wrong. I'm still not inviting her to the barbecue. You can come to Buffalo Wild Wings and watch a show with us or watch a game with us, but I don't know you, lady. You can't just come to the barbecue. I need a few more sessions with you before you can come to the barbecue. And I gotta know what you like. I don't want to invite my own family to the barbecue, so I ain't inviting a stranger.
Better to invite her.
I really do want some sushi.
So you can have good time.
See that you
I
get
knew you was gonna say
canceled.
something. That's why I said that.
Canceled.
I ain't
You
even
was an
do it.
LT today.
I'm
That's what I'm
saying let
saying. See,
people
I ain't
be,
even.
let
It's
people
too easy. You know.
let
Yeah, he says too easy.
let people be.
Agent, yeah. I mean, because
Listen, I got white
like who really?
associates, I got
Who,
Asian associates. I don't care if you're a nice person, you fine with me.
Right. How you treat you
Cause yeah,
is
I'm like
that's all
black
that
and
Yeah.
matters.
shit, and I do not talk like that. If anything,
I,
it's more of a reflection. It's like, damn, you went to terrible schools. Like,
Yeah. See, we got to be getting to this mindset that we keep saying we hate people to look at us like a monolith, but then we get mad when someone does things that make us look like a monolith.
right.
So you can't get mad if you say someone's appropriating how you talk, but you saying we all are not like that. So don't get mad at that. Don't say that's how black people talk if you don't
Right.
want to look at as that's how black people talk.
That's not how we talk.
That's how
How
some of us
that's
talk.
how
That's how some poor people talk, or not just poor people.
obviously,
That's
that's
how
how
some
some
really
Asian people
educated
talk. So
people
it's
talk.
not.
I've seen different nationalities talk like that. So
Yeah, I've seen white people that are poor talk a certain way.
oh,
I've seen white people who are rich. I've seen black people who are
okay.
rich talk. Black people who are rich talk a certain way. Spanish people who are rich talk a certain way, and
Right.
Spanish people who are poor talk a certain way. You know, it doesn't hold any place in the hearts of people who are poor or rich or whatever. It's just where you raised at. You know, there's some people talk
Okay.
Southern, like myself. Some people talk like they are from New York, like Preezy.
Hi.
Yeah, we just talk differently based on where we were raised at. So, stop putting us all in one box. It's easier to do that, but stop doing that.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to find the other story. Scroll down. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay. So, this one I have no video for, but I'll read it out to you. So, there was a trans girl. She's in Jackson, Mississippi, and she's not going to be able to participate in her high school graduation ceremony because school officials told her to dress like a boy, and which means wearing pretty much pants and a shirt or whatever, and I think a tie. A federal judge, they took this to the Supreme Court. I think the Supreme Court. Let me read further. A federal judge did not block the official's decision. Attorney for the girl's family said Saturday. Linda Morris, staff attorney at the American Civil Liberties Union's Women's Rights Project, said the ruling handed down late Friday by U.S. District Judge Taylor McNeil in Gulfport, Mississippi, is as disappointing as it is absurd. Our client is being shamed and humiliated for explicitly discriminatory reasons, and her family is being denied a once-in-a-lifetime milestone in their daughter's life, Morris said. No one should be forced to miss their graduation because of their gender. The ACLU confirmed that the 17-year-old girl listed in court papers only by her initials, LB, would skip the Saturday ceremony for Harrison Central High School. The student has met the qualifications to receive a diploma, according to Wynn Clark, attorney for the Harrison County School District. Let's see. The ACLU sued the district Thursday on behalf of the student and her parents after Harrison Central principal Kelly Fuller and school district superintendent Mitchell King told LB that she must follow the boys' clothing rules. Graduating boys are expected to wear white shirts and black slacks, while girls are expected to wear white dresses. LB had selected a dress to wear with her cap and gown. The lawsuit said LB had worn dresses to classes and extracurricular events throughout high school, including to a prom last year, and she should not face discriminatory treatment during graduation. Clark wrote in court papers Friday that taking part in the graduation ceremony is voluntary and not a constitutionally protected right for any student. So, the argument here is, should she have been allowed to walk across stage in whatever she wanted to wear, which in this case would have been a dress, leave it. If you think she should have followed the rules that were written in the school manual, I didn't mention that, but they were written in the school manual for graduation, According to gender, she had to wear pants and a white shirt. Medicated. Leave it if you think she should have been able to wear what she wanted to wear, a dress for graduation. Medicated if you don't think she should be able to wear one. She had to follow the school's rules. Okay? LT, do you want to leave it on this situation or do you want to medicate it?
Damn. Oh man.
And just going back to it again, just for graduation, there are gender specific clothes. Otherwise, there was really no dress code for gender. They had dress code, but not for a gender specific clothing. And they allowed her to go to different events and school as how she wanted to dress, except for graduation. This is also in the code of conduct.
Leave it and medicate it.
Yeah, leave it if you think she should have been able to wear what she wanted to at graduation. Medicate it if you think she should have followed the school's rule of conduct, which they also signed, by the way.
There goes documents popping the fuck back up again.
I think that's one, but yeah, go ahead.
I guess shit. Guess I'm gonna leave it.
Okay.
Are you ready? Go!
I hate the stereotype, but you said this is in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. It's funny that we're referring to this student as she. They allow this student to wear dresses to everything else. I don't get why the holdup at graduation. Again, as I just alluded to, always it's going to go back what was signed, what documentation they have, and apparently they have. Now it's weird because aren't they wearing gowns over they're wearing graduation gowns over these over the dress code that they're made to wear. If I'm not
So sure,
mistaken, I don't know. Last time I graduated,
yeah,
that's how I did it. I wore some shit, but now I understand how important identity is to these kids, and this is, I think, why it's a little tricky when you start letting children express themselves in that way while they're still in high school, because they're subjected to things that either you had to sign as their parent or legal guardian, or in order for them to get what we call essential needs like a high school diploma and things of this nature, they have to adhere to and abide by certain rules. Like you're in Jackson, Mississippi. They might have let this child come to school every day in a dress, but they probably, like, when they have the most people, like a graduation is literally when they have the most people coming out for a school. And yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess the race of this child is probably of African descent. Am I correct?
You are correct.
About that?
You're correct.
I'm correct. Okay, yeah, I figured as much. Yeah, they're not gonna let that go down. So I feel as though they're making a big deal out of nothing. They should let this young lady walk across the stage in whatever dress she would like to dress in. But yeah, gay LGBTQ RSTUV only applies to the upper to the elite. Yeah. Like gay black men, gay trans, or excuse me, black trans women don't really have the same kind of protection and overall respect that the rest of the alphabet community has. They don't really have the voices. They have the representation, but I also feel like their representation works against them. Their representation is a get along, go along game. They don't be. They only advocate for as much as they only advocate as much as they're allowed to. They only push for, because again, all the gay celebrities we know. I know this is where I'm getting canceled right here. I know Puff Daddy is gay. I know that nigga Sean Combs is gay.
Allegedly, you guys say allegedly. You trying to get a suit, man.
That man like fingers in the booty, and that's okay.
Allegedly.
It's okay.
Can't be putting that stuff out.
Well, okay, so allegedly, Exhibit said this, and Exhibit said that Puffy said she the type when they was talking about Superhead one night and Puffy, he was on that, he was
Get off
sipping
the
on that
point.
shit. And but I digress. All the gay black celebrities that we know, what's the Laverne Cox, goddamn motherfucking my boy Billy Porter, he cool as shit.
Come on, okay.
There's some other gays out there, some other gays and some black trans women
We'll come back
that
to it,
could
man. We got
again
to
come
let
to
Preezy go. Got to let Preezy go. We'll come
oh my
back to it.
bad.
All right, Preezy, you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Leave it if you think she should have been able to wear the dress at graduation. Medicated if you think she should have followed the rules of the school and wears pants and a shirt.
Leave it.
Okay. Tell us why.
Are you ready? Go!
Now, were they allowing this young lady to dress? Was she a lady going?
Yes.
Okay, then.
All year. Yeah.
Okay, then she should be going to graduation like that. Why change it now? You allowed it before, which is nothing you can do. She has her right to do that, you know. So now it's her graduation. She got to go back to being a boy, but the whole year she was a girl. You're contradicting yourself. Now I know you can't tell somebody, hey, you can't be. According to what's going on today, if you feel like a girl, you can become a girl. If you feel like a boy, you can become a boy. So all year, she went from a boy to a girl, and now the time she's getting on the stage, you want to say she got to go back to being a boy? I don't. It makes no sense. Or give her a outfit where half of it is a girl, half of it is a boy. I don't know. Like, this is really a mess. This is absolutely a mess. But if you allowed her to be a girl all this time, she's getting ready to get her diploma. What's the problem? She walking across the stage, picking up her diploma. You allowed it all this time. So I don't understand why the school making a big thing about it. Because if you thought it was a big thing before, you don't, there's nothing you can do. You can't stop a person saying, hey, today this is how I feel about myself. You can't change that. But I guess they feel according to the record, she is a boy. And that is probably why you are accepting this diploma as a boy. And so we want you to appear as the person who you're supposed to be. I don't know. That's a mess.
All right. I'm gonna disagree. I'm going to medicate it on this one.
Are you ready? Go!
I think it's kind of simple. I say she signed a code of conduct. She saw the rules way before graduation came. I'm sure she's probably like, well, they let me go all this time wearing a dress up to this point, so they're probably gonna let me slide at the end. See, again, the code of conduct didn't have any gender specific clothes before graduation. But we all know there's certain things we go to, let's say JRTC, the prom, that you have to, or banquets, maybe sport banquets where you have to wear different outfits and clothes compared to what you wear in everyday school wear, graduation included. And I don't even think, I know good and well, probably when I went to school, I don't think I remember, and I could be wrong, where you had to wear gender specific clothes throughout the year because it really wasn't an issue back then. Where someone had to be told to wear gender specific clothes. But they did have rules like you couldn't have pants this high, you couldn't be sagging, you couldn't be showing this much cleavage, you couldn't have drug paraphernalia on your clothes and stuff like that, or things about violence or political clothes. That's kind of what they got now. But graduation, I do remember where it says, boys had to wear this and a tie or whatever, girls had to wear this. And I think that's probably the thing that came there. They probably already had those rules written out, gender specific, and maybe once she got there, she signed it, and then maybe it was too late to say anything that, hey, you can't wear these kind of clothes for a girl or for a guy. They were afraid to get sued, so they left it as is because it was going to look like something discriminatory. But the graduation thing was already written into the code of conduct or school rules or whatever, so they couldn't change it, or they could change it. They just left it as is. It was incumbent on her and her mother or father or whatever to look at those rules and know that she couldn't go to graduation like that, or ask or talk about beforehand before they even got to that school. And I think it was too late. Once it happened, Supreme Court or U.S. District Court looked at it and said, hey, you signed the contract, you read the fine print, you got to wear what they tell you to wear or go to another school. You had ample time. I don't know if it was she signed it on her freshman year or senior year or whatever, but she at least had a year to make a complaint about what was in those rules before graduation got there. You know, that's my only thing about it. It's like you signed the contract and you have to wear different things at different events. You know, military balls, you got to wear different clothing than you do in everyday school wear. Proms, sports banquets, sports, you got to wear a different type of clothing. And it's usually listed in some sort of rules that you got to change. In the everyday clothing, at least I don't think today, I don't think it's gender specific unless it's a private school. And this is a public school in this matter.
They weird. That's all I got. They weird for letting that whole thing happen. Because again, if you were going to renege and tell this young woman that you allowed to be a young woman for however long it was, I guess, novel enough of an idea or whatever the fuck. And I'm not gonna lie, I just always have a sneaking suspicion this would not happen if it was a different race. If there was a community that was dealing with this, that I don't know, maybe stuck together more on these things when it just happened to one of them. Because again, if this was a kid of another race that was, excuse me, being told that you have to be the gender that you were assigned, that's literally something that got J.K. Rowling the fuck up out of here. This whole school is being a turf, pretty much. They're making this motherfucking. I was about to call. I was about to call. About to misgender this young lady, but yeah, I think it's weird. I think it's unnecessary. There's so many other things to worry about as a school. Like they're still shooting schools the fuck up. These kids are still like literally in Fayetteville, North Kakalaki. Goddamn, there was a shooting. There was a what was it? A suicide, a murder suicide type shit. Like a boyfriend or
Yeah,
ex-boyfriend killed
okay,
his
I know what you're
girlfriend
talking
or
about.
ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but we want to stop children from coming to. Oh my God! Don't wear that dress to graduation. Don't bring the chopper to graduation. How about that? Like, don't bring the. Hold on, Mackenzie. Don't pop the 9.
Well, I feel like if you're gonna let one rule slide, you're gonna let a lot of them slide. You already got to the point where, depending on your gender or not depending on your gender, you can go play a sport. You can go to the bathroom, and they don't follow those rules. Now, those rules have been set in the space for how many years? But no one follows those rules. If you were biologically born a woman, you can and claim yourself to be a trans man, you can go to the other guy's bathroom, and vice versa. And it's been happening also in sports. This is a minute sort of story with graduation is concerned. If you're going to let that rule slide, then why not let all the other rules slide, which they have? I almost feel like this is just one of the small cases where they actually stood firm on their rules and didn't like, well, you should let the person go to graduation no matter what gender they are. If they claim to be this gender, you got to let them go. If you let this go, then are you going to do the same thing with bathrooms and sports and any other type of things going on?
What was they doing with bathrooms before?
Before, they just let biological men or biological women go to the bathrooms. And then someone said, no, I identify as a woman, even though I was biologically born a man. So I should be able to go to the bathroom based off of that. And as Preezy has mentioned on this show before, they do in prisons. Somebody saying they're biologically, well, not biological, they're biological a man, but they claim to be a woman now, and then they go to the women's prisons and run amok. If you're able to do that,
knocking everybody the fuck.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if you're gonna let one rule slide, then you're gonna end up letting all of them slide. You stand for nothing, you'll fall for everything.
Then it's like, why did you let them slide as far as showing up to school like this the damn day? Like,
I kind of figured out that was a legal issue because, like I said, I don't think most schools have it
Right.
like gender specific. During the school year, you have to wear these kind of clothes. Like, unless you're like a private school, maybe a military school. I don't remember boys saying you had to wear pants. It was just like understood you wear pants. But things change, cultures change, and I just don't think they ever put that in the rule books. I think they always had it for graduation. I do remember that in graduation, like you had to wear pants, or you even had to wear certain things going to gym or whatever like that. But I've never heard gender specific clothes being worn during the regular school year. I think they probably was like, well, she already signed the contract. It's already in the books. It's too late. So I can't do anything about it now. Crazy, what you think?
Say that again. Repeat that.
No, I was saying that I don't remember like gender specific clothing rules for everyday schoolwear, but I do remember gender specific clothing for graduation when I grew up, and I don't think that's the same now. I think that was what the case is here. Is she signed the contract and they like, oh no, we don't have any gender specific rules for her for everyday schoolwear, but they already had a graduation gender specific schoolwear, and they were like, well, we're covered legally, so we don't have to do anything until graduation comes up. But we're probably not covered for the rest of the school year, so we're just going to have to let it slide. That's what I think. I'm not sure. I looked at the school book, the school book of conduct. There's no gender-specific schoolwear except for graduation. So I kind of figured that's what it was, a legal issue.
So it's mandated that she have to wear what the school says.
During graduation, but no other time.
Yeah, but so he wants to wear a dress.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like they really put it like that in the yearbook or in the guidebook. They did that earlier in the year.
So what are the rules?
It's different rules. It's like you can't wear, have cleavage. You can't have, drug paraphernalia or political statements on your shirt. It's stuff like that, but it's not like gender specific. Only until graduation, where it says men have to wear this and women have to wear this. Now, what you probably could argue is it didn't say biological men and it didn't say biological women. Maybe you could argue that, but that's up to the courts, I guess, to decide on that, and they did.
And what did the court say?
They said she has to abide by their rules.
Oh, okay. So the school wins.
Yeah. And here's let me pop up a picture right quick. I hope it's a good one. So that's her right there.
Both pictures?
Yeah.
Wow. You couldn't even tell. You couldn't even tell that was a guy.
A lot of makeup. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow. Oh, Steve.
But yeah, if the school motherfucking won, then it's like.
Well, he's wearing a gown. He's wearing a gown. So when you're walking on stage, you got your gown on. You can't tell anyway, right?
Well, that's why I don't know. I don't know if this is.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Must be a graduation
because you got a lot of people that used to wear regular clothes under the gown. You couldn't see it.
I don't know what this is. Because she's wearing a dress here. So what is this? The before graduation? Graduation pictures? Right. Not the day of graduation? I don't know what this is.
Because usually when you walk across, you walk across, you got your cap and gown on.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Literally everything is just done for image now. They probably let this young lady attend the school as a woman because it made them feel inclusive. It made them look inclusive. It gave them that nice slip. They probably got some funding for it on the slip, but they also probably got told, hey, don't let that motherfucker show up like a damn girl to graduation though.
One day out the year.
That's probably why it was in the clause like that, or it was in the guidelines like that.
Yeah. Got to read that fine print.
Because they only whipped certain shit up until
a photo opportunity is presented. Like they don't want any connection to that for real. They don't like that.
All right. Let's see.
Not from us anyway. Like
No,
it's not something that we can do freely. That's silly us thinking we have the right to express ourselves.
All right. All right. Let's move to our last story. And this is about the emotions that men have and how they go about that in their daily lives.
Wow.
It's emotional, it's a healthy man, a healed man. No, that's where you mistake.
Hold on, let me
Oh, a
run it.
man that's emotional, it's a healthy man, a healed man. No, that's where you're mistaken, baby girl. A healed man is a man who is in control of his emotions, not an emotional man. Emotional men beat their wife. Emotional men punch holes in the wall. Emotional boys shoot up their school. Emotional boys shoot other emotional boys because he stole a PlayStation or because he stepped on my sneakers. That's emotional. Men, stoic men, men who are masters of their own emotions, masters of their own mind, aren't emotional.
Okay. So, basic off this video, would you say a man who is emotionally strong is a man who's able to control his emotions? Who doesn't really show a lot of emotions. He's more in control of his emotions than most people. Well, we'll say women and most men. And
Word.
if you agree with that statement, leave it. If you disagree with that men should be able to, I guess, release their emotions a little bit more than the average person, or like women, sometimes, not all women, but most, then medicated. And you got a little echo going in the background, LT.
Oh yeah, I'm in Whippington en route to handle some street shit. Nah, I'm playing. I'm about to
Oh, I say, hey, you gotta go get some money.
No, I mean I did get paid today, but no, I'm just about to go let the dogs out for my parents. You know what I'm saying? Some, street shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what's really hot in the streets right now. Being a good son while your parents are on vacation.
That's good. All right. Well, I'm gonna let Preezy go first on this one.
Word.
Preezy,
Yeah.
do you think a emotionally strong man is one who does not show much emotion? He's in control of his emotions, versus not being able to be emotionally strong, where it can carry him to the point where he can go attack people, fight people, be violent, overly emotional. Is not a emotionally strong man. If you believe it, a man is emotionally strong where he can control his emotions from being let out, then leave it. If you disagree with that premise, then medicate it.
I think I'm gonna medicate.
Okay. Let me pop this up here.
Ready? Go!
First of all, everybody are human. We all human beings. And I think that men should show their emotions. They shouldn't hold it inside because it'll make them snap. They probably gonna snap anyway. But I'm just saying, you should never have to hold your emotions, and that's the problem. Some people are probably brought up, oh, be a man, don't cry, you shouldn't cry, hold it in. That's not right. At the end of the day, you're a human being. God made us to have emotions, whether we sad, happy, whatever emotions human beings are supposed to have. It's not just for women, it's for men too. They should express themselves. I would love for a man to be, if he's emotional, he cry, something is bothering him, something is making him sad, he's expressing himself. Why shouldn't he? So I don't think men should hold things in. I think they should be able to discuss. It doesn't make them a weak man by showing their emotions. Because how can you hold in pain or sorrow or something that hurts you or somebody that passed away? Those are the times that those are the things that you want to see in somebody. You want to be able to see that other side of them. So I don't think it's fair that they have to hold their emotions in. Because as women, we don't hold ours in. We let everything out. Well, I can't speak for all, but you should, because it can make things worse on that person by holding all these deep emotions in and not able to express it. So no, men should show their emotions, and it doesn't take nothing from them. They're still a man. They're just a man that has emotions, and I think that's fair.
Okay. All right. LT,
You're
you want to leave it or medicate it?
I'm going to, because the leave it is a man in control of his emotions, or like that. What does it
Yeah,
mean?
they're emotionally strong if they can control
Emotionally.
emotions. And medicate it if you disagree with that statement.
I'm gonna medicate it, I guess.
Okay, go ahead.
Are you ready? Go!
I guess it's just all in the damn. That was a quick ass green light. Oh, Marky ass. But I guess it's all in the wording and phrasing. I don't think controlling emotions. I think the aspect of controlling the emotion is a necessity, but I think it should also be able. I think there's emotions are a very compound thing, and like what Preezy was saying, both men and women express emotions, and they're not something that you can literally just bottle up. Like they're what separate us from animals. Like we are the fact that we're able to express our emotions, the fact that we often act off of our emotions. Where I will agree with him at is yes, the term or the phrasing of an emotional man is someone that lashes out. Yes, because when we just leave it at that, when we just leave it at I'm emotional, I'm mental, I'm physical, when you just leave it without describing these things, it can come across as being unstable. Controlling them is not the presence of expressing them positively. So you should want a man that is yes emotionally or that knows how to express himself emotionally, that knows how to positively express himself emotionally. So yeah, it's not just about being emotionally in control. It's about being emotionally adept, emotionally intelligent. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that. So yeah, control is just a very. It's honestly, ironically, it's a masculine notion to put over that kind of thing. So what you want to be is more adept, more intelligent, and aware. And we have to approach emotions with kind of a feminine aspect, and that's to be not gentle with your emotions, but to understand your emotions, to be compassionate with others, to understand other people's emotions, to know how to express your emotions, to know how to use your emotions in a positive way. Bars, I guess. Right there. I could have went back. East
All right.
side.
All right. I'm going to leave it on that one.
Are you ready? Go!
Okay, so we've heard of the phrase crime of passion. And usually when a crime of passion happens for a man, you usually end up dead because that man couldn't control his emotions. There are more murderers and violent offenders in prison for men than there are women, because for the extreme, when we can't handle our emotions, people can end up hurt or dead. It's extremely important for a man to be able to control his emotions. We don't express our emotions the same way, but there's other ways to release our emotions besides just having to cry on a pillow. That's why we have sports. That's why we have boxing. That's why we can yell at each other and then, calm down afterwards. It's not the same. You can't have two people crying in each other's arms all the time. You can't have two people in the household or in a relationship crying over everything, crying over Titanic and the Notebook, whatever. There's one person that's going to be able to do that. It's a yin and a yang to it. A man who gets too angry can end up being violent and turn over furniture. A woman can do that too, but she's normally not going to go that route. She may get angry and find ways to get vengeful with you in other ways, but it doesn't always end in somebody getting physically hurt. A man who does not have control of his emotions, who we say you're acting like a woman right now, it has dire consequences more so than what a woman who doesn't have control of her emotions. So I think it's more important for a guy to have control of his emotions than a woman. Yes, women can express themselves and men can express themselves too, but it's at a lower level. We find other ways to express our feelings besides how women do, and that's why we are different. And there's nothing wrong with that either. I do agree that men should be able to express themselves in some form of capacity. They shouldn't bottle everything up, but we don't express ourselves or release tension the same way that women do. I think it's much more important for men to be in control of their emotions than women do. That's why women have the space to be able to express themselves the way they can, because somebody ain't always gonna get hurt the same way that if a guy expresses himself the way he wants to, or the way maybe another woman does.
Word, I feel all that. I feel all that. I mean, I just think the term control, yeah, because
I
I
think of
mean,
the Hulk.
it's kind of, I
That's
mean,
what makes
because
me
it's
think
kind of
about as a Hulk. When the
it's
Hulk
an
don't have
inverse
control of
when we
his
say,
emotions, stuff get torn down, buildings go down. Of course, we're not the Hulk, but on a lesser degree, that's what can happen. I think LT signed off by accident, probably. Preezy, what do you think about that?
Oh no, it's jeez.
Just check the prisons. Who's the more violent offenders? It's more likely those are crimes they committed because they couldn't control their emotions.
Yeah, definitely. And well, maybe therapy is needed. If you can't control your emotions, therapy is definitely needed.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the men today, they snap and they're killing. And if you read a lot of the news articles, men are snapping, their emotions all over the place. Mental illness is a big thing. So it definitely requires therapy if you can't handle your emotions and your outrage on certain things. And you'll see the signs, you know. So therapy is definitely needed.
Right.
If you go to zero to 100 within a matter of seconds, you need help.
Yeah.
Every little thing ticks you off. You need help. Your anxiety or whatever, you need help. Because sometimes we think we can control these things by ourselves, and we just can't.
Right. That's true. It's an extreme for guys. Like there's, and not to say like a woman can't mess up a house and left eye burned down a whole mansion. And it's not to say
Mm-hmm.
that can't happen, but put that same type of emotion that Left Eye had in her situation, which I don't think she actually did hurt by accident. From what I remember, she didn't mean to burn it. She was trying to burn some shoes up in a fiberglass
And it got
tub.
out of control.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the guy probably would have been trying to burn some shoes up in the house with her in it if he didn't have control of his emotions. So it's just a little bit different, more so for men, because we got testosterone that just makes us act out a little bit more. So we have to learn ways to be in control of our emotions more so than women, because they can end up in just a horrible, horrible situation.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm sure there's some women out there that have restraining orders, but it's way more for guys because they know what can happen. I guess we can both cry on Titanic, but are you going
yeah,
to
because I'm trying
on
to,
Titanic though?
yeah, because I'm thinking it's like, what does control your emotions all encompass? Like, can I not, what I'm saying? Can I not express
You're breaking up a little bit, LT.
signals fucking terrible out here? But it's like, what emotions encompass needing control? Like, obviously, anger needs to be controlled and shit like that. But like, is that the only one? Because again, like that's something everybody should have. So it's like we're not reinventing the wheel here. Like,
Well,
we just have
sadness
to.
can easily turn to anger, though. Sadness is the
Can turn.
next door cousin of anger.
Yeah, I mean, emotions in any way should be checked. They should be monitored. We should be aware of the things that we're that we're feeling. But in terms of expression, yeah, we need more outlets because I was thinking like the sports analogy you made. It's like you can't really. That's not really an outlet for a man to express emotion because if you start letting your emotions get the best of you when you're playing, you're probably going to end up losing.
Well, you're right on that because you've seen some super fans out there who don't have control of their emotions and they're crying over a team that they don't even know anything about. Or they're ready to fight somebody. The Jordan LeBron argument that's always happened. I've seen people ready to fight and kill other people over LeBron James or Michael Jordan. That's what I mean, where you're not in control of your emotions. That's too far.
I think that's an over involvement of emotions in something that is supposed to be a sport. Like literally, there's no more basic definition than what that is. It's a sport. And as you as a spectator, you have no emotional investment. Even if you were the only way you can have an emotional investment in that is if you are a member of the team. Like then
Right.
it's like a family aspect and it's like but yeah like I think that comes from people. I think that comes from a form of illusion attachment to things that make us feel as though
Yeah.
we're false forms of fulfillment. I think that's where
Yeah.
getting emotionally invested in things like that, but that's just again not people being emotionally unintelligent, people really feeling like, oh my God, we lost. I can't believe we lost, and being
Mm-hmm.
upset enough to throw shit at the fucking TV screen and break up and tear up their whole damn house. It's like you are emotionally. I'm yeah. There is no emotional control. I think there's no impulse control. There's no mental control. There's no like. There's no psychological. That's a psychological problem. Also, I think as well. Damn, the moon is bright and beautiful
Yeah.
out here tonight.
But I think women have a better control over carrying it too far in those instances. Women can be over emotional about certain things, but they also got a limit to where it can go. Where they can be depressed or sad about something, but okay, she's not going to kill somebody over a basketball game, or if somebody got a comment over a movie or something like that. Most of the time,
But women will definitely kill
all the
you
time.
over some shit. We like For My Man is one of the TV One's most popular programs. Women have emotional extremes that they will kill a motherfucker for. So
They
they
do.
definitely like because it's because we as human beings, we are emotional beings. Like that's literally what separates us from animals. The fact that we act upon our emotions, like we get that wrapped up in shit.
Yeah,
And
we
because
do.
also women have a
Yeah.
greater emotional weight to burden in this world. So I also understand the emotional extremes that women go through. Because yeah, like literally, they're fighting for their lives throughout the entire year. A woman's period, it doesn't just last those 3 to 5 days throughout the month that a man thinks it does. There's literally a pre-period that comes before the period even comes. And that is something like that's a chemical, biological thing that, of course, is going to make you, I hate to say it, emotional and throw off your emotional pattern. So it's like we don't even, there's a greater emotional weight that they carry. So we take that into consideration when they have emotional outbursts.
I understand that, and they have way more reasons to be emotional based on how their body regulates their hormones and stuff. It still doesn't carry them to the point where someone can end up dead. It is a vast difference in how many men are in the prison system for killing or hurting, assaulting someone versus women. Men actually have more reason to fear other men. Men attack and kill more men than they do women. That's just it. It's vast difference between how many men are killed versus women, but it's coming from men because there are men that don't know how to control their emotions, and of course other little idiosyncrasies that could go with that. But if you don't have control of your emotions, I think that's where it goes back to. I think women can get over emotional about more things, but men, they don't have to get as emotional or over emotional about most things. But when they do, it can be worse than what a woman can do. A man needs to have way more responsibility over his emotions than women. Not to say women don't need to have responsibility over their emotions too, but it's worse for guys because it can end up horrible for a guy and a woman, or children for that matter. Pets too, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's kind of like we're just saying with great power comes great responsibility. Like any
That's a good way to
man
put it.
knows that, yeah, any man knows that you should be in control of your feelings because your feelings are only momentary. You're right.
Some
Those
don't
are
know.
things that are like they don't. But yeah, they're fleet. Like, but when you have a better understanding, a better awareness, a better intelligence about them, you understand that these are fleeting moments. You can feel upset, and right in the next
Yeah,
moment, you could
yeah.
scroll past a video that has you dying laughing, and now you're happy, you're jovial. You know what I'm saying? Your mood has entirely changed. So feelings are only a matter of your reality and your perspective. You have to learn to see past that. And you're a lot of people don't see that, and that's why they're kind of trapped in, or they fall into situations where they act upon their emotions. But again, they're never taught how to do so. They're only taught to control them, and I guess that's the only reason I have a problem with the term control. They're only taught to we use the term control, but
I
when
think
a lot of
stop
people
is a
say it,
horrible word. Yeah.
yeah, I think a lot of people mean get rid of them, don't have them,
Yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah. I don't like
like,
that. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, man. What
because
about man?
that's what a lot of people, yeah, like manage your emotions. Like you have to acknowledge them to manage, like even if you want to control them in the most positive sense, you have to acknowledge they exist. You have
Right.
to understand where they come from. Why are you feeling this feeling of anger? Is it because of a relationship? Is it because of a slight that you feel like you've encountered or some shit? Like you have to understand yourself on deeper motherfucking levels so that you can get to the root of uh, that disconnect with your emotional well-being.
That's understandable. I don't disagree with that.
But
Breezy,
yeah,
did you?
it's just how we
Oh,
say about control.
yeah,
No, but I was just saying it's just the way we use control. There's a positive and a negative to everything.
yeah,
So
yeah. I got that.
we have to be careful how we say control.
Yeah, I got that. I mean, that's understandable. That's Breezy, did you have anything else to say on the matter? Is your Breezy? You there? You you
Muted
fix
freeze if you're talking.
you fixing your wrist?
Sorry about that, guys.
Did you have anything else to say on the matter?
No.
So I didn't know if you were taking some pain meds for your wrist.
Nah,
Yeah,
I'm good.
All right,
like nothing else.
AKA BBL. Yeah, I'm not gonna say.
No way.
You wanted to be
Hush.
a big.
Nah. I just read the article about DC's baby mother. It's terrible.
Oh yeah,
Like
it's
when enough is enough. My God, she was doing a mommy make.
Enough is
She was so
enough.
pretty. She was pretty. Like, what is the problem?
pressure, media
I don't
pressure.
understand. I don't get it.
Yeah, we live in a world that is obsessed
Oh
with
my
image.
God. Beautiful children. I think he had
That's what I saw.
3 of them things.
three from her, right?
3,
Yeah, I think so.
Jesus Christ. So
3
sad.
of them
So,
things.
All right, guys, we're gonna go to the last part of the show. Let me actually add the video right quick. Gonna go to the deepest thought. Make sure I add it up here. Gonna go to the deepest thought. Last part of the show. No need for commentary. You just listen and meditate and let that message marinate, whatever the message is. Soon as it uploads. Slow ass internet.
Oh, you
Got
got Spectrum. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I tell you who's worse. T-Mobile. I don't care what they tell you. Don't get T-Mobile internet.
I got both of them. I don't. Just shout to my life.
Still got that big circle on the screen. Taking his sweet, precious time. So,
Deep
yeah.
thought is at the bottom of the fucking ocean.
Oh, my God. Come on. I don't want to do it the old school way, but it looks like I might have to because it's taking forever to load.
What's the old school way? Playing it off of your phone and putting your phone up to the screen or some shit?
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I think maybe I must have switched back to AOL dial-up because it wasn't working before. But okay, I think we got it now.
It'd be like this.
Okay, can you get here on time?
To be honest, I really can't guarantee anything. Yeah, I can't guarantee anything. I like to sleep late. You know what I'm saying? I be sleeping good. So pretty much I be
Okay. Okay. Do you have a forklift experience?
Forklift experience? No, I really ain't got no experience.
Oh, really?
I got my high school diploma, GED.
Okay. No experience. Okay, well, it's fine. If you run over someone, that's okay. We'll deal with it.
Okay, cool.
We'll deal with it. So we have a no phone policy here.
Oh, no, I gotta have that phone on me. I gotta have that phone on me. I be having to take calls and stuff. My female be hitting me. You coming down tonight? I be having to, get back to her. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay, well, you can have your phone.
Okay.
You can have your phone.
Already.
Can you start today?
No, to be honest, I really can't. I could probably start like next week or another 2 weeks from now. I really finna go blow for real. My homeboy, he calling me now. My phone vibrating.
Oh, you can blow here.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, already then.
Yeah, you can blow here. Could you work on weekends?
No. I can't work no weekends. I can't ever work weekends. If this be going on, I gotta be outside with everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
That's probably how they're so desperate for workers. They
really are. Like,
that's how McDonald's is. That's how most fast food restaurants are now. They can't hardly get anybody to work there. They let anybody work now because they that desperate. Walmart probably. Oh no, AI about to take everybody's jobs. AI about to take the place of me.
Never, ever.
Why you say that?
They got it where AI can look like you, sound like you.
I'm not eating.
Oh gosh.
And in a matter of seconds, I seen a song with Michael Jackson singing "Down for My Niggas" for Master P, and it sounded just like him. They somehow were able to copy his voice, and he was saying all kind of N-words. Yeah. It's in the early infancy of it right now, but give it a couple more years and see what it does. You ain't gonna have no more superstars.
Out here.
Musical artists are gonna be gone. All right, guys,
they gonna start dying.
That was episode of Hostile Therapy on Thursday with Big Red, getting some hostile therapy, not because you want it, but because you need it. Preezy, did you have something you were saying, or were you screaming in agony? What was that?
No, that was my phone. I'm sorry.
Okay. I thought
you funny.
The pain meds wore off his phone. What's going on?
You gonna make it
I appreciate Preezy coming on. Listen up, listen in. Check up our podcast.
Yes.
Thank you for LT coming on. He's doing his son duties and taking the dog out like a good son is supposed to do.
Beautiful over here. It's quiet. It's peaceful. The smell of marijuana. Cedar Creek got on.
Yeah, it's country, basically.
Hell yeah, East Side.
All right. Appreciate you guys coming on and everybody else coming on, getting some hostile therapy. We'll see y'all next Thursday, 7 p.m. same time. Y'all have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Free Palestine.